Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Lance, here with my other host, Matt. And today we have our guest host, Tyler.
How you doing?
We are brought to you by The Anime Show. Make sure to follow them on Facebook and give them a like and support us there. In every episode, we like to start with an adult drink of choice. Today, I will be drinking Journeyman's Distillery, Whips, Corsets, and whiskey. What about you, Matt? What are you drinking?
I am also drinking a Journeyman's Distillery. We need to talk to them and try and get some sponsors or something.
Oh, yeah.
But I am having a Silver Cross, so a little bit lower alcohol content. It's good. I like it. What about you, Tyler?
Oh, I'm just drinking some good old twisted tea.
Ooh, twisted tea is...
I'm going to go fight somebody at a gas station after this.
You can keep your alcoholic tea over there.
They're still good. I like a good twisted tea, but in the summer, I like it under the sun.
Oh, yeah. I just had an extra case left over from vacation, so I was like, might as well bring half of it.
Right?
Well, I don't like tea at all, so I'll pass.
Tea's good. And then, of course, Matt and I are also chasing that back with a good old-fashioned New Glarus Spotted Cow.
That's not a Spotted Cow. This is Cabin Fever. Well, I'm drinking a Cabin Fever. Yeah, I think you finished your Cabin Fever already.
Nope, this is a Cabin Fever. Look at that.
Bamboozled.
It just the yellow and the green just made me think it was Spotted Cow. And it does kind of taste like Spotted Cow.
I mean, it's a honey lager. It's really good, but it's their seasonal, so it's...
Okay, so now that I'm tasting it again, it's not as creamy as a Spotted Cow is.
Yeah, I would say almost not as smooth, but this is really good. I kind of wish I would have bought another case before they swapped over their seasonals. My buddy told me, he's like, oh yeah, they're on a different one. I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah, seasonal stuff, yeah. Yeah, okay, so winter cabin fever, right?
Just Cabin Fever. But yeah, it's really good. I've enjoyed it. For anybody who watches our short flights, I'd been drinking that for our short flights.
Nice. All right, and let's jump into the synopsis for this. Matt, you got that?
Yeah, I do. So in Season 2 of ReZero, we continue basically right where we left off on the last episode of Season 1, with our crew traveling back after defeating the White Whale. A crazy encounter involving the Saint Archbishop of Greed, Cornelius Regulus, and the Saint Archbishop of Gluttony, Lyle Batracatos. I'm probably saying that wrong. We'll just call it that. I don't remember how to actually pronounce his name because you only see him once. End up taking away Rem's and Cruchet's memories while also taking away Rem's name, so everybody forgets about Rem, minus Subaru, who does remember everything when it comes to Rem. After returning to the mansion, the crew learns everyone from the village has escaped to the sanctuary but is unable to return. After entering the sanctuary, our team learns they must complete the trials in order to break the barrier and free everyone. Character development definitely sprouts as we learn about everyone's past and the reasons why they are the way they are now. A lot of information that happens in this season, and hope everybody enjoyed that synopsis Lance wrote for us.
Yeah. All me.
But before we get too far, Lance, you want to give us Lance's lessons for this episode?
Today's Lance's Lessons is going to be the Japanese word for rabbit, and that is usagi. Usagi is spelled U-S-A-G-I, and usagi is very relevant to today's episode because we learned that there are three, what are they called? Big beasts?
Great beasts.
Great beasts.
Something like that.
And the great rabbit is a great rabbit because they're great in numbers.
Yep.
They're the great rabbit.
The white whale and the black serpent.
Right. And we learn more about the great rabbit in this second season. So that's why it's relevant.
Yes. We actually kind of learn about all three of them we learn about the other two in this season and basically how they came to be, which I thought that was really interesting, finding out how they came to be. I have no idea what the Witch of Gluttony had in mind when she was created the serpent, because doesn't the serpent basically just consume everything in fire?
Not necessarily a fire, but it plagues them.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's kind of like a disease.
Yeah, so I can't imagine what she had in mind for the snake, because that's what she called it.
I could throw in one little idea. And it's not to say that I know much about snakes, but I would imagine, their poisonous bites, they're going to stun their opponent with their poison, and then they eat them afterwards. So maybe with this poison or stunning ability that it gives off is how it's going to eat everything, because the way the witch was describing everything being obsessed with like food, maybe everything has to do with how it eats everything. And we kind of saw that with the whale, and not really. Like the whale was just fucking bashing through everybody and spreading its fog. But we can also imagine that a whale, like it is in the ocean, just gulps everything. So
Yep. Well, they said the reason with the whale was because, you kill it, it's huge, it can feed everybody.
Ah, yes, that's right.
The rabbit just indefinitely can respawn itself, so you can just keep eating it. Granted, it tries to eat you, so you're super fucked on that one. But then the serpent, which it's Daphne, by the way. That's the witch.
That's the witch. There you go.
She really, you don't really know anything as far as the snake is concerned.
Right.
I feel like we're going to learn in season 3 about the snake, just because they kill it, the whale in the first one, the rabbits in the second one, and I would assume the snake in the third one.
That's my expectation.
What about you, Tyler? Do you think...
I have a feeling in some messed around way that these rabbits are going to come back, because they're not dead. They're just in an alternate universe.
That's true.
That is definitely a topic I wanted to bring up later.
Because they're just, like Beatrice said, they're just in somewhere that's like the library. It's just another space right now. So who knows? They're witches. Something could happen, and we might all come back with max numbers. Who knows?
I like that idea too. I did think of that, but I also have an alternate idea. Maybe they missed one stupid rabbit, and then that one rabbit can infinitely, multiply there too. So maybe the rabbit's not officially dead.
Maybe. I'm going to go with no, only because when Daphne talks about the rabbits, they basically come as a horde, and they think as one. Mm-hmm. So I highly doubt one just happened to slip by.
I doubt it too, but anime logic is,
plot armor.
Yeah, plot armor.
It's got to be something that causes something to mess up.
Yeah, I highly doubt it's going to be an issue in the future, but
I'm pretty sure they are taken care of. That's just a long shot that they'll be relevant again.
It's just one fun thing to think about.
Yes, I would completely agree with that one. So, do you guys have a favorite witch?
Ooh, a favorite witch?
Or the one you're most interested in? It doesn't necessarily need to be your favorite, just kind of the one that intrigued you the most.
I don't remember her name, but it's the one that asked Subaru to hold her hand, and if you're feeling...
Typhoon, I'm assuming.
Typhoon,
it's the little girl with the blue...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she held his hand, and it's like, if you feel pain, then... you regret something, and then he just looks down and his arm's gone.
Yeah, right.
And she's just like, oh, you feel nothing. And he's just holding it up. And I'm like, I like her.
You must be a good person. You didn't feel any pain.
That's
for
what
me
it was. If you were
off.
a bad person, you felt pain.
Yes. And it's funny because I'm actually in character page of the person. That's the little snippet you see is just her talking to Subaru. Then his arm is no longer attached to himself.
Doesn't she eventually break him into pieces? And then the other witch comes down and fixes them.
So
Minerva.
Our listeners know she is the authority of pride, by the way.
The little child one?
Yes. Typhoon is the authority.
Typhon.
Sure. We can go with Typhon. That's
Typhon. Typhon.
yes. Yeah, that one. Yeah, her. Yes.
I'm looking at the listener right now, too.
But she is an interesting one. What about you, Lance?
Man, I'm really happy we got a nice introduction into all of the witches.
Okay.
But the only one that we didn't get any information on, maybe we got a little bit. I'm blanking on anything right now. And I think her name is Sekhmet.
Sloth.
Sloth. Okay, yeah.
She was there for a little bit, but I don't think they touched into her like they did when he met all of them. She
showed
met
up at the
her
very end.
You met her at the very end when...
She was the one just kind of laying there all kind of seductive like.
Just laying on her pillows.
Yes.
I wonder if she's going to be the vampire one, because she's out of all of these,
I can
she
see
looks
it with how she
vampire-y.
dresses.
And I'm only saying that because Garf says if a vampire witch can die, then
You can.
Elsa, the Bowel Slayer, can die because we find out she's a vampire.
I could see it being that.
So,
quick question: is it Elsa or Elza? Because it's Elza.
I think it's Elsa.
oh, okay, yeah, more
But it does-
pronunciation on the Z. Yeah,
It does sound like they say Elsa, so I was like, me being deaf, I'm like, am I just hearing things?
It also depends. It could just be the English adaptation of it.
yeah,
Yeah, that could be as well.
yeah. I'll go with Elza with more emphasis on the Z.
Okay.
I like that, and plus, obviously, it's written that way. So,
Yes.
But yeah, I am interested in her because we don't have much to know about her.
And then Tyler, you had brought up she has the authority of sloth, so she's essentially Betelgeuse.
Yeah, whoever Betelgeuse is like under.
Yeah,
for
because
whatever
he's
reason.
sloth. He's
Yeah.
the Archbishop of Sloth.
The Archbishop representing sloth.
Correct.
What about you, Matt? What are you thinking?
Probably Minerva.
Minerva, the blonde one?
Yes, so she is the Witch of Wrath. She's the one that essentially puts Subaru back together. Mm-hmm. And then she's also the one that talks to Amelia in the witch area, pseudo-space, I guess you kind of call it.
Tea party.
Yeah. And, well, it was the tea party, but there was no tea being drank.
Right, it was just that location.
Yes, but you could see that she had the most array of emotions and just kind of real range of a character.
Yeah, she definitely seemed like more of an open book, someone that you can see a lot more character development coming out of her compared to any of the other witches.
Yes.
Like, we got a lot of Echidna.
Yep.
And I did like her. She was very interesting. Mm-hmm. But of course, on my end, it's just the curiosity of the unknown. So I want to know more about Sekhmet.
The one you got to see the least of.
The least of, right?
And that's kind of how it was with like favorite character for season 1 was Elsa. You didn't get to see a whole lot about her, but you knew she was still around.
Well, what about Satella? You basically saw none of her except for
The one episode.
the one part of the episode. Well, it's kind of two
There's a couple
parts.
episodes, yeah, because she invaded the tea party when he got to meet all the witches individually.
Yep.
And then when he got out of the trial and she was attacking.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm interested in Satella about is, like, why is she so interested in Subaru? And why is she so strong enough to take care of the rest of the witches?
Yep. Yeah, that's super interesting. And so that area where the witches' tea party is, all the witches are dead, but yet Satella could essentially invade the tea party, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I think she can invade it because technically she absorbed the other witches.
Oh, I
So
suppose.
if she has access to their conscience or whatever, she can kind of access where they're at because technically that's also where their conscience is. That's
Okay.
kind of like my thought process on how she can kind of get in and out of there.
Yeah, I can buy that.
But like my thought process behind why she's so obsessed with Subaru is because of Amelia being obsessed with Subaru.
But she was obsessed with Subaru prior to Amelia.
True, he's the one that she is the reason why he's in that world.
You think so? You think that's why he got
Well,
isekai'd?
he got pulled right into the world with her ability.
Yeah, that would be the only reason that I would have to answer to why he's there in the first
the
place.
only thing I have right now then why he'd be there.
The only reason why I ask is because the night for the one queen,
Good old foot licker.
that queen, that got pissed off when he went to do it, which deservedly so. It's weird. That guy also got isekai'd into the world, and he didn't get any special
Wasn't it
abilities.
like 18 years prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the helmet. Yeah,
Yep.
just so our listeners know.
So I am curious how these individuals are getting brought into this world.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I hope we find out. I kind of have a feeling we're never going to find out how. Where it's just going to be one of those things where you just have to assume it was Satella or...
I have a feeling if it's going to spoil it, it's going to be so quick, people aren't going to catch on.
I can see that happening.
Because that's how I've seen a lot of themes with this one is the things happen so quick that you don't notice them. And there's something that I noticed in this one that you guys might have noticed. I don't know like how much jumping around you guys want to do. I could bring it up later, but
I'm cool with talking about everything. We
I
can be
don't
all over the
know
place.
if you guys caught it, but with Ram's horn was there in that fight with Roswell. When she busted through the ice and stole his book, she had her horn, her demon horn.
I remember something like blasting out of her head.
That was her horn. I
like-
rewinded it, and it was just a small little horn coming out of her head. Because then when she collapsed and Roswell was kind of healing her, you could see the gash where the horn was.
Right. So, yeah, like maybe...
I wonder if it's a manifestation of power that turns into a horn.
Right.
Where it almost pseudo acts.
But if it was like that, then how did Roswell cut it off in season 1?
Because it was a horn at one point.
Oh, I guess. Okay, so it's kind of like the power of her demon side releasing that's kind of making it...
Yeah, like when you turn Super Saiyan and your hair just happens to go upwards.
Different colors.
Yes.
Right, like maybe her power just explodes out of her forehead and the horn itself represents like a container. And
that's a visual representation of what she is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then maybe Roswell is just evil enough to close that gap back up so that she can, remain on a lower level or something.
Maybe, or, it's an open wound on her forehead, so he wants to heal her.
I think it was more so in the state that he was in. I think it was more so she didn't die.
Yeah,
because he was so stunned by what she did for him
by burning the book. Yeah, that was a fantastic scene.
Yeah, it was very, very well done.
Back to thinking of how everything is going to get answered in the very end about being isekai and stuff like that.
Okay,
going through all these trials made me think: is this going to be some kind of stupid? This was all just a dream moment, because like this dream stuff opened up a lot of stuff about like accepting reality and carrying on into the future, and we saw Subaru just become a better person, accepting like what I just said, and like maybe all of this is just his shitty life being meditated upon so that he comes out better in the future. And
plot twist, all he did was get hit by a motorcycle in the street and wakes up like,
right. I mean, I'll be fucking pissed if this turns out to be a fucking dream.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's not going to be one of those shitty plot twists.
I'll tell you what.
I'd probably never watch the show ever again if that is actually what happened.
Like the movie Click with Adam Sandler fucked me up for a lot of movies or ideas about like it was all just a dream. I never want to see that again.
No, people were so pissed off by that, nobody's ever going to copy it.
Yeah, so I really hope it doesn't, and I don't see it being that way.
Yes.
But that was just one thought that went through my head.
I just have a feeling we're never going to find out how they get isekai'd, because it's not really vital to the plot, so they're just going to kind of skip over it. And let's be honest, unless you read the manga and or read the light novel, you would have never known that detail anyways. I feel like in the light novel they might answer it, but in the anime they're never going to answer it. Like I just feel like it's very minute. It doesn't matter.
Right, like the whole point about Helmet Head being isekai'd, and I wonder if that's going to get it. Like, okay, well, now that we know that the next season is going to be brought back into the selection, we'll probably end up seeing...
Well, yeah, they're going back to the capital. At the very minimum, they're going back to the capital. So I don't know if that's going to be...
So I wonder if that little bit of information will finally
It'll
get
probably
revealed.
come out just a lot later than how the manga works.
Right.
Maybe, potentially. And do we want to talk about the preview video or no?
Preview video?
Yeah, you didn't see the trailer?
Oh, no, I haven't.
You haven't seen the trailer for season 3?
I saw the thumbnail for...
I haven't seen anything on season 3, so I would...
Wow.
All I saw was Subaru and Amelia holding hands in some kind of street. That's all I know about season 3.
Well,
She got isekai to his world.
Yeah, it was really... Oh, man, Bleach, where they were in the one world, but in actuality, it was just over his world. It's like, no, that's not how that happened. But, okay, well then, there is a trailer. I want to say there are 0 words to said trailer. So, the trailer is very exciting. We'll put it that way.
Okay. Damn, now I feel like a bad fan.
Yeah, you suck. Terrible.
Supposed to have all this knowledge, and we can't even know what's coming up yet.
Yes, the thumbnail. So, I'm trying to think. The thumbnail, all it was Amelia and Subaru holding hands. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And then
At least that's what Bryce posted on the anime show. So that's all I really took out of that. I didn't realize there was a trailer.
Yes. So let's get back into season 2, since we can't even really talk about anything from season 3.
Right.
Besides, one thing I want to talk about is just kind of what arc this covered. So this covered the 4th arc in the light novel series. Mm-hmm. For anybody that doesn't remember, the anime is based off the light novel, which is also what the manga is based off of. So when we talk about manga mentions, we'll probably be missing huge bits of information, but we're only going to compare the anime to the manga itself. So not really. There might be some huge differences there. The anime covers, from what I read, basically the ending of volume 9 through volume 15 of the light novels. Again, for anybody that's actually read the light novels, please, you more than welcome to shoot us a message. Let us know what things we missed out on. Would love to get any extra information on the light novels, because love this series. I can't get enough information on all that's going on.
Speaking on that, I know we talked briefly beforehand, and we saw what people on the internet are talking about how season 2 might appear to be like a little bit slower pace or anything like that.
Yep.
And I was thinking on the side, this is kind of one of those situations where if it was sped up too fast, and we're thinking in hindsight, man, I wish there was more information that was dealt out in the past. I think this is one of those situations that they're just prepping us for, so that we have a nice chunk of information to carry on into the future. Because I know there was a lot of talking points and slow points and character development about the past and whatnot, and a lot of people might find that boring, but at the same time, like,
almost everybody always complains about not getting enough background.
Exactly. I don't want the hindsight to ruin anything.
And that's kind of like what we were saying about season 1. It was moving so fast with so little time to get into anything, and now that I actually had time to get into things, now it feels like it's dragging because they spent...
I want to know more. I want more.
Yeah.
You want more, then they give you more, and it's like, faster.
Yeah, so you can't have the best of both worlds. You gotta, I mean, it kind of is the best of both worlds, but it comes off differently.
I think if this would have happened in season 1 instead of season 2, it might have been a little bit different. Mm-hmm. I am not complaining about it, because you get enthralled with all these characters, and now you're like, okay, so now the main characters, I'm really going to take a deep dive, because you're already invested in them. Versus if this would have been flipped, you would have been like, yeah, but what do I really care about them for? Like, I don't need to know that Amelia froze her entire home world not home, nation and country. Either way.
Village.
The forest.
Yeah. And that's why she doesn't remember basically anything, is because Puck used it. Or not Puck. Was it, who was the one that locked her memories up? Was it Pandora, okay.
She said she'll forget everything that happened. I can't remember exactly.
Basically everything that happened. Yeah. And
I guess I kind of skipped over that. I thought it was just her going through a psychological breakdown.
No, Pandora locked up her memories.
Oh, okay, yep. Now I remember this.
She said that she would like feel the pain or the regret, but would have no memories of anything that happened.
Yeah. So basically that's why Amelia was so distraught every time she would do the trial, because deep in her heart she knew it was real, but she couldn't actually put 2 and 2 together.
Right. She thought it was fake to a point because she didn't remember anything.
Yep.
But speaking of like the whole freezing and trial thing, and I remember we kind of talked base on this season 1 on who Puck is.
Yep.
I do think it is her mom.
Dad,
mom. I think it's mom.
Okay.
Oh, you don't think mom is to tell her herself?
No. Well,
it can only be one. It can't be both.
I'm trying to remember her name.
I can't know.
It's her dad's sister.
Oh.
Mother
Fortuna.
Fortuna. I think it's Mother Fortuna.
See, okay.
Her
just
aunt.
on how they talk. She just always called her mother, so that's why I just referred to her as mother.
Just so everyone's on the same page, like the one who she called Mother Fortuna is technically her aunt, but it's her mother figure.
Yes.
So that's why I think it is.
I want to say that too.
But that's just because we've met Mother Fortuna. We know Puck. They're around the similar. Call them same nicknames and everything. But it could be her dad because we know nothing on her dad.
We know nothing on mom either.
Right. We can only speculate.
We know her mom's still alive, tormenting everybody. But
so you think mom is Satella?
I think mom is Satella because she, as soon as she went into trial 2, she's like, I know I'm a witch. Or no, that was trial 1. That she said, I know I'm a witch.
Yes.
And they literally look identical. So
she called herself what? The Witch of Frost or something like that?
Ooh, she referred to herself as the Witch of Greed at one point, didn't she?
Yeah, but I think that was just she's being greedy, so she called herself the Witch of Greed. Okay. Because that would be...
Otherwise, I think it was the Witch of Frost or the Witch of Ice. Something.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, now that sparked up a new branch for me to think of, like, do you think Amelia is making herself a new witch? Like,
I don't think you can make yourself a new witch. I think it's their...
Oh, I guess we're going off all the sins.
But
Yeah.
I don't think she'll be a new witch. Technically, I see where you're kind of coming from, because technically she is a witch.
Yeah.
She is a descendant of a witch. So
Okay.
which makes her a witch. And if she can unlock the power she had when she was a kid, just whipping around random ice chunks trying to kill people,
Oh, yeah, she went fucking
she
psycho.
went ham on Pandora.
Yeah, die. Die.
And she's not even
Die.
looking either, and just smacking her with boulders of ice from nowhere.
Start stalking. Die. That was intense,
But
by the
I
way.
have a feeling, I get what you mean about her being a new witch, but I have a feeling like if she is to become an actual witch, it will be Greed, like her quote-unquote mother.
Okay.
No. Greed.
Is Satella.
No. Greed is Echidna.
Oh, Greed is a kid.
'Cause she wants all the
Satella's,
knowledge.
Envy?
Envy.
Envy, yeah.
Okay. You heard so much of Envy and Greed that I always got them mixed up.
Yeah, I don't have everything. I mean, I don't know what list Matt's looking at. Like, I got the Witches of Sin I'm looking at, and I got all the names, but I got to go to my notes if I want to put anything together, and I didn't even put everything together.
All right, if you could give me some magical no time at all. She is the Witch of Envy. Yes. Satella.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we all knew that from season 1.
Okay. So you're asking...
I just messed up on the wording. I thought it was Greed, but that's because this whole season was based around Greed because of Echidna.
Right.
Yes. So you're asking if Amelia is going to be the new...
I have a
witch.
feeling she would replace Envy and just...
That's what, like, Stella... That's kind of what I'm thinking, because that's kind of what season 1 made us think, that Stella needs a new host body for whatever reason, even though she's still technically alive. We need kind of answers on that.
Well, it's kind of just like what Roswell was saying about Echidna, trying to find her a host body to make sure she can come back alive. I have a feeling that is what she does, but when she takes over, that host body assumes her original form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think she is supposed to be the vessel for Echidna. Amelia is supposed to be the vessel for Echidna.
And you think that's why Roswell kept her close?
Yes, I think that's what Roswell's goal is to make Amelia the...
And you think that's probably why she was so sheltered by Betelgeuse?
No, I think Betelgeuse had good intentions. I do not believe he was in a part of the witch's cult until...
I think when he accidentally killed Mother Fortuna.
Yeah, when he
That
goes psycho,
sent him...
and then you see him walking off with Pandora, is when he officially becomes a part of the witch's cult, because the only people that wear the cloaks that he wears are his fingers.
Mm-hmm. So he's got his own cult.
Yeah. Well, his own followers.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Speaking on that, Betelgeuse kind of switched like a flip of a switch. That sounded stupid. So as soon as he killed Fortuna and figured out he fucked up.
Yep.
And then he walked away with Pandora and he was
Yep.
laughing crazily. Do you think in that moment he went crazy because he mentally fucked himself over, or do you think Pandora found an opening and did something to him so that he would follow her
I think
her
it was
wishes?
more so it was a mental break from how much he just fucked.
I would like
That's
to
how
believe
it
that way.
looked. Pandora could have did something to him. We might find out more about that later if that is something, because I don't think Pandora's dead.
Oh, definitely not.
But so she's a witch, right?
Pandora, no. Pandora's, I think they made mention of devils. And what I'm seeing on this character list, Hector is his name. He's the depressed guy.
He's the guy that Roswell got into a fight with, trying to stall so they could get the barrier set up, right?
Stride was a devil. They called him a devil, but
Stride?
Valacha.
Do you got a
Valacha?
picture of him? Said be
Yeah,
able to
I
know
do.
if it's the guy from the end. Yeah, that's the guy from the very end that when they were trying to set up the border where Roswell just got his absolute shit beaten and the dude didn't even have to technically touch him.
Right. Yeah, because Hector was so powerful.
It's
According to this character. In the anime, I don't think they ever gave us his name. He just...
They
shit
may
up.
have said it once, but they always refer to, well, he's here.
Oh, yeah.
So they
he's
knew who
here.
they were talking about, but they never really specified him directly. And then after they got her into the crystal, that's when that flashback ended, and then you never saw him again.
okay. So Hector, excuse me. Yes, the devil. I'm trying to think what they called him.
Ooh,
Devil.
start with a C.
That was in like the last 6 episodes.
Melancholy.
Melancholy. No, why was I thinking C? I was thinking catastrophe.
But what does Hector have to do with Pandora? Because I know I was asking, like, what is Pandora? And then you brought up, like, demons and Hector.
That's right.
I think it was just the fact that they named him as a devil. So do you think, according to this character list, Pandora is labeled as other?
Yep, that's what I'm saying too.
So it's interesting to know why.
Right, and there's clearly a hierarchy because Pandora was definitely more powerful than Hector. And what was Hector's title, Matt?
The Archbishop of Melancholy. According to this, he is called the Devil of Melancholy in the anime, though.
Right. All right, so Tyler, you got a mention?
So I know they mentioned this in the anime, again, extremely fast so you don't catch it. She is the authority of vainglory.
Pandora is?
Which makes her the Witch of Vainglory.
Yes.
So she is another witch, but she was never at the witches' meeting, which were the ones who are dead. So I'm assuming
she's still alive.
She's still alive somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming since they only mentioned 7 and 6 of them are dead, and
I think the main
Satella's still alive, that she has been irrelevant since that situation. But that's as far as, I mean, we know of, because as soon as they walked away, we haven't seen anything of
Okay, well,
of her.
with that title being said, that kind of brings me into thinking about what I was thinking earlier with Amelia making herself her own witch, since we're going to branch away from the old school sins. But back to Pandora, what do you think is beyond that door? Because, like, we had that trial where Amelia went through the door and she was back into the real world, but, like, what do you think that door really is?
What do they call it, a gate?
Yes.
So do you guys have information on that I missed out on, or what?
They didn't really like touch base on what its importance is, but I have a feeling it links. I don't really know. They didn't really touch base on of its exact importance,
right?
Just that they wanted it.
Yeah, and Amelia was the only one with the key. And why does some random child?
Because she is she's essentially the queen of this community. Mm-hmm. They treat her like a queen, princess, whatever you want to call her. She is the highest class of person for the area. So I think that's why she has the key. I think the key is a door to where the witches live. Like it's their dimension. I think it's the door to the witch's dimension.
But this was also in the past before. Ooh, actually, I don't know that. I can't say that for sure. But
this was hundreds of years ago. We know hundreds. We don't know if it's No, we do know it's 400 years because it's how long Puck had been basically around for, so it'd be 400 years. The only thing is that the witches had been around longer than this 400 years. They just died 400 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because on Pandora's thing, it's just that she's 400 plus.
Yes.
It doesn't specify, but I did a little reading on Pandora. Mm-hmm. There's 9 total witches. And actually from the first season, did we ever talk on how Teresa ended up dying? Banastrea?
Yeah, she got eaten by gluttony, by the whale. The whale killed her.
The whale killed her because of Pandora. I guess Pandora played a huge role in her death.
Okay. We did talk about Therese, right?
Yep.
We talked about her and being like, hey, so if the whale killed her, how is she still being remembered? Because if the whale kills you, your whole existence is forgotten.
And I have a feeling the whale killed her is what they saw, but I have a feeling it was Pandora because they didn't say how. It was very heavily implied that Pandora had something to do with it. So that does mean, though, that she is relevant within the last 15 years of where Subaru is currently, if she was there at that time.
Yes.
Yeah, because if she died, it was within the 15 years because, oh God, what's the red-haired knight's name? Reinhard. Because it's got to be within his lifetime. So
yep.
Yes.
So,
ish.
How many witches are there? Was there 7 with Satella, or is there 8 with 7 dead because of Satella?
So there are 6 that are dead, and then Satella is the 7th.
So there's actually still one witch we don't know about then, which could be Amelia. Because when I was reading in it, she said she is one of the 9 witches.
So yeah, if Pandora is one of the 9, and we already know of 7, that's 8.
That makes one unknown, which could see in season 3, or it could be, Amelia in season 3. It leaves a lot of openings for possibilities.
All right, well, let us throw a quick curveball in here, because according to this character sheet, there's a comic, there's a manga picture, and there's someone named Omega that will find out eventually. So maybe Omega could be the ninth witch. So I want to assume that Amelia is going to be that ninth witch because she called herself a witch, and I don't know if she's just going to take over someone's title, but I'm seeing Omega here, and I mean, obviously, nobody knows other than the light novel readers who this Omega is, whether she's a witch or just someone else who's fucking powerful. Maybe she's beyond the door. Maybe Omega is beyond the door, and she knows shit. Maybe Omega is the reason people are being isekai'd into this world.
Maybe. That'd be interesting.
I'm just pulling shit out of my ass.
But just to go back to your question, Lance, that's what I think the door is for, is it's the passage between the two worlds, between where everybody lives and the witches, which would also make sense on why Amelia would have a key, because if she is truly a daughter of the witch, she technically would be granted permission to travel between the two.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay, so with that being said, and we've already established that Pandora is a witch, and if Satella has a key to this door to the witch's area,
yes,
maybe in that train of thought, Pandora doesn't have a key. She got her key taken away from her or something then.
Potentially.
Or kind of like what you were saying with, I can see it being the reason why she has the key is being Satella's daughter.
Yep.
And I have a feeling once you access the door, you have access to the witch's souls, which you can implant them into a host body, bringing them back.
Maybe.
Kind of thing.
I don't think it's that much. I think it's more, if we go off what Echidna said, most people only get to interact with the witches one time at most. So now you essentially get free reign between all of the witches and their abilities and knowledge whenever you want. So that's why, you'd have this door closed, because depending on who would have this ability or authority, whatever you want to call it, it could be detrimental to the witches, but also detrimental to the world. Because if the witches cult were to get this ability, well, you could almost say the world is fucked. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to find out if we see anything in season 3. I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, at this point, I'm imagining that season 3 is going to be a lot of political talk and focusing on the selection itself.
Okay.
I have a feeling we'll see more Reinhardt in this one.
God, fucking better.
Mainly just because...
You want to see him?
That, and, I kind of, read, the first sentence of the next arc, and it's literally Felt is involved in it. So I have...
Good.
He's going to be back. I just don't know how involved, because it's just Felt.
Yes.
But most of the time, your knights are with the person they're escorting.
Right.
I will say the next arc is the return to the royal capital. Mm-hmm. If they are there, which would make sense on what that they are, you will get to see Reinhardt.
Yeah, everyone should be there. All the selection people.
Makes me excited to see more Julius.
Yes.
Julius too. Okay, can we just talk about that moment where Subaru was seeing those moments after his death? I just want to say right at this moment that this was one of my favorite scenes in the entire season right now, was what happens after Subaru dies.
Isn't that super fucked, by the way?
Uh-huh.
Because I know we had talked about it because that was one of the things that I really remembered from prior to rewatching season 2 was Subaru essentially getting shown what happened after he died.
Right. Like the what ifs, essentially.
They were what ifs. Technically, they weren't what ifs. It was truly what happened, but in a alternate dimension. So just kind of keep going with your point about Julius and how his reactions after Subaru's death.
Yeah, and how he said he would have hoped to have been friends with Subaru again.
Yep.
And just to go back to another death with going back to Reinhardt, because it was the only little droplet of Reinhardt that we got this season, when Reinhardt was going to face off against Puck in his giant beast form.
Yep.
And we know they were about to battle.
Yep.
But, of course, the memory drops off at that point. So we couldn't see any badass action coming out of that. And you already spoiled us with saying that Reinhardt's more powerful than Puck is.
That would have been a disgusting fight to watch.
I want to... Yeah, I was
because that kind of brings me into the flashback where Puck circled I'm spacing on his name.
Roswell?
Where Puck circled Roswell with the ice, and then he pretended to be in his giant form, but it was an illusion of just him bigger, and he was almost excited to see Puck in his like monstrous form.
Yep.
Because part of me feels like he kind of wanted to die in that moment.
I think he did. I think Roswell was accepting of death at that point.
Yeah, my biggest question is, why didn't Puck go into that beast form?
Because I think it takes a lot of his spirit energy to do that. Or he just needs... I think if you actually see him in that form, shit's dying.
So he goes from being just a greater spirit to being like the great whale, where he is
technically one of...
Yes,
them.
he is a what's the right word?
It's the great beast, but I know they have like a technical term to him.
You're considered a I'm assuming in that form, in his true beast form, is considered a catastrophe spirit, not just a greater spirit. And I feel like if Puck goes into that form, he kind of just loses all control.
Right. So if he goes in that form, it's already too late. The world is done.
Yeah, until Reinhardt comes
Unless Reinhardt comes into play.
Yes.
I can see that. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's still weird that he just turned into a giant Puck.
I thought it was funny.
It was very funny. Because it was like a good like comical relief for how serious that situation
It was.
But also I just looked up like Puck's alias is known as he is the beast of the end.
Okay.
So if you see that, because anytime we've seen it, usually the world starts freezing over.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Which again, from if you've seen the episode where we talked about the first season, is his fire ability. Throw that one in there because it's technically controlling temperature.
Yes,
right.
yes. That anime logic.
Really cold fire.
Exactly.
So it's kind of one of those more mindfuck things where, especially in the scenes in which Subaru died, they're almost those self-sacrificing ones, or in the one case where he commits suicide.
Well, there's two.
Yeah.
The rock one where he jumped into the spiky rocks in front of Rom and Beatrice.
Yep.
And the first episode of season 2 where he shoved a blade through his throat.
Yep. And so it's just one of those moments that it can really make you think, because, well, there are certain times, people will think about like, hey, life doesn't matter. But then you see it's like, hey, if something were to happen, this is the after effects on if you were to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, just seeing in other people's point of view of like your shitty situation. Like, okay, so the term selfish comes up an insane amount of times.
Yep.
In this season. Can we just talk about selfishness a little bit? What do you guys think about like everybody's actions being selfish, and like that's just a word that caught me.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think, where even Subaru is like, no, I can't do that because I'm just being selfish. And I enjoyed that because it's good character development for him, where he's learning from what people are talking about, on top of just being cognizant in the moment of what he's actually saying.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's so weird. I don't know if it's an American thing, but like, of course you want to do what you think is right at the same time, and of course there's always going to be selfish reasons why you want to do some things. Yep. But this one made me think, like, why wouldn't, like, Subaru does so many things, like why wouldn't you want to have Amelia do better for herself? And then she's always complaining that Subaru is the one who's being that way. And like, I think both parties benefit off of this. Why is this selfish on Subaru's end?
Because I think it's more so because it's like he stated before, he does it for himself to make her give her what she wants. So she's seeing it as selfish that he's doing it for him. He's doing it for himself.
Mm-hmm. He's saying, I think it's more the fact that he's saying he's doing it for her, even though it's not necessarily what she wants him to do. Right. And that's what makes it greedy, is that in the point in which, I'm trying to remember where he was, this is season 1, but he makes a complete ass about himself in front of everybody at the Royal Selection. He said he was doing it for her, but in all actuality, he was only doing it for himself. Mm. So
it's just kind of like you're a parent trying to make your kid play a sport they don't want to play, but you want them to play it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But kind of think this is a good point for a break. What do you guys think? Yeah. All right. Well, then we're going to come back from our break.
Need a little more spandex in your life? Tune into RangerCast, the first podcast devoted to Power Rangers and other Japanese superheroes. After 10 years adrift in a space dumpster, we are back with news, reviews, and special guests. Teleport to rangercast.net or summon us from your favorite podcast app. RangerCast is the most more phenomenal podcast on the web.
Hey, and now that we're back from our break, let's definitely get into the meat and potatoes of everybody's favorite conversations. Let's talk about favorite characters. Tyler, you want to give us your favorite character?
So I'll probably go last because I got a couple. That way, like, you guys can touch base on yours, and then I can kind of go to mine. I got two, so.
Okay, so Lance, I'm really interested in yours.
Oh, okay, because I also have two, so I can always take someone else's back.
You can give your two. Okay. There is nothing stating that we can't have the same favorite character.
Right. Okay, so I'm torn between Rom and Garf.
Okay, those are interesting.
And if I'm going to go first, I'm going to take Rom.
Okay.
And it's because she's strong. That's cool. But more importantly, I've been leaning kind of heavily towards comedy lately.
Okay.
And her cold-hearted back comments on everything she says is just so goddamn funny in every aspect.
Yes.
He'll be sitting here spitting his heart out, and she's like, shut up, you're stupid.
Right? Like, there's that one moment when Subaru and Garf had their fight in front of the temple, and Garf, lost the fight. And he's laying on her lap. And then as soon as he wakes up, it's like, oh, good, you're awake. Get off of me.
Just
my feet are falling asleep. So, like, as soon as a goal is met, she has no problem carrying on. And then, like, there was another moment that, like, Subaru's asking for help. And then her immediate response is, okay, 10 favors. And, like, that made me laugh pretty good right there. So I like her cold-heartedness in the form of comedy, so I'm going to go with Rom.
All right.
What about you, Matt?
She is, didn't you have Rem as your favorite character?
So season 1 was Rem, season 2 is Rom.
All right.
He just likes the twins.
Apparently he does like the twins. Just, the pink-haired Rom, excuse me. See, I can't even get it right.
Rom.
Man, for me, I will say I do enjoy Subaru a hell of a lot more in season 2 as compared to season 1. He has a lot of growth, definitely not nearly as whiny. And even the moments in which he is whiny and crying, it's for, actual reasons instead of him just being like, oh no, my world hurts. So that is enjoyable. I kind of like Beatrice.
Okay.
I think it's just kind of all the dialect they have together. It's very thought-provoking, and it's interesting because, what would you do if you were in her situation?
I'd be a lot more selfish if I was in her position.
So I really liked Beatrice. I really liked Otto. He was a really good character throughout this entire season.
I was very surprised by Otto in this entire season.
Yeah, because we literally talked at the end of talking about season 1. We're like, I don't see him being relevant. He's probably one of the most important pieces to this season.
Exactly. I think that's why you brought that question up in the last episode, Matt, huh?
Man, you knew.
Yes.
You just walked us into that trap.
You're welcome. I'm glad to kind of throw some spears into certain situations. Yeah, because if we're going to just call two, I'd probably go with Beatrice and Otto. Yes, they're secondary characters, but Otto plays vital points throughout the entire life and death and rebirth of Subaru, so that's really nice.
His fingers are in everything.
Yes, if it's not for, let's be completely honest, if it wasn't for Otto, none of the things Subaru was attempting to do would have happened.
No, he helped him accomplish a lot. And even though it was only a short time, probably became one of the closest friends with Subaru.
Yeah, and it just kind of helps Subaru be like, oh shit, okay, maybe I need to start like thinking a little bit more broad about what's going on and being like, oh yeah, he's actually my friend. That's kind of nice.
I still laughed at like one of the last episodes when he was like, oh, the men and the women and Otto. Yeah, he's like, I'm not even a man.
He comes after the men, yeah.
So I enjoyed Otto. His ability was really cool. You got to see his backstory.
It was kind of nice to see how kind of like close he played to Rem, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Pink-haired, no. Rom.
I couldn't remember which one could see what the animals could see because he can talk to the animals.
Yes.
So it was nice seeing the aspects of both.
Yeah, because she has clairvoyance. So,
okay, so Rom can see what other life forms are seeing.
Yes.
And then
he can talk
Otto
to the
can
other.
talk, or at least understand.
He can hear everything.
He can talk to him too.
Yes.
I mean, they understand.
They just understand his language, and he can understand what they're saying.
Well,
Yes.
not only that, but we also have to come to the understanding, or at least the anime bullshit, that all animals can just understand a human native
It's
tongue.
just like us
Well,
talking to
he
our dogs.
has the it's a specific word they call
Blessing?
it. Yeah, he has the
Yeah.
blessing. So it's just going to be one of those things where,
maybe it can go both ways.
yeah.
Okay.
So those two individuals were very good, and just as far as Beatrice is concerned, I will say, especially the first time, I caught myself saying "I suppose" like way too often.
You know, that's another thing, because I've in the past, like before I've even started watching this series in general, I catch myself saying "I suppose" quite often.
Yeah.
And then fucking Beatrice has to ruin it for me. Like, I cannot say it now without thinking that. And then
Anytime I hear anybody say it, now I cringe. I'm like, I suppose. And I'm like, stop it.
you know, because of this anime, it is just you just shouldn't say it at all. Like,
I suppose it's a
yeah.
so it's
like when I say "I suppose," it's kind of like a defeated purpose. Like,
yes.
all right, I guess, I suppose. But like when she says it,
It's like high horse talk.
like 90% of the time it's out of place. But when she also says,
Yeah, she's saying it because she's better than you.
What is it, condescending?
Yes,
Yes,
it's definitely full of condescension. And I get it, because essentially the only motherly figure that she had in her life was like, hey, I'm going to give you this book. It's going to tell you the future. But then after, 5 years or whatever, it's no longer going to tell you anything, and you're just going to have to wait around forever to figure it out.
yeah,
And
that's so shitty.
like, it's super, but what is she supposed to do? She already made this contract. She's a spirit, so she can't renege the contract.
Yeah, but there's that little tiny loophole that she never knew about.
Just got to read the fine print.
Well, she got nothing to read, so
But that's also like kind of like what you're talking about, like why you liked Subaru, is I liked how he was able to talk her out of the dark hole that she was in, because in this earlier you saw her wanting to kill herself to get out of her contract.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like you saw them when they went back to his mansion, that she literally, I wouldn't say let Elsa kill her, but had no problems with it.
She accepted it.
She accepted it and had no problem with it. She was trying to fight back. But that's why I was like, you don't know, like, she was 100% trying to let her kill her, but I know she had no care if she did.
fight back. You see what she did to those rabbits? She was just like, okay, well.
Speaking of Subaru the rabbits,
He
was
finally-
he using his own abilities, or is he just channeling it?
No, he finally got abilities, so that's
it.
nice.
I love it.
Wait,
Yes, he has abilities now.
yeah, I know he has the hidden hand thing.
No,
And the
all the, like, Betty's, like, purple, or the pink shards.
Okay.
He was casting those because he was literally carrying her, like, sub-unconscious.
Yes, okay.
And he's literally just blasting the ground, making the barrier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you think he has this ability
yes.
for himself, or do you think he has this ability because he was holding onto her hand and she was transferring it?
See, Mr. Manga over here probably knows the real answer.
No, I don't.
Okay, so from the show, watching it, I feel like it's being transferred.
Yes.
Because kind of like how like the healing is in there when they were healing his gate. I feel like it's just because you're touching it allows the flow of transfer. Because like she said, it's like, say the words. And then he was able to do it. His gate isn't very strong, so I don't think he'd be able to keep up doing how much he was able to do without her help. But then again, with her being a spirit,
I think it's anime logic on that part, but I think he needed essentially healing, and then he is learning the ability of using these specific abilities, and that's why he can do it.
okay, so
Just like the hands, where it's like, oh, okay, now he understands how to do this, so now he can do it.
Okay, that makes sense. He probably needed her for the start to be able to feel that's right, because they were holding hands and he said, feel the flow of the magic. Or the mana. And then that's when he was able to do it. And I have a feeling that's all he needed was that help to be able to regulate the flow. Because that's what Puck had to help him with the first time he ever casted his first ability.
I can see that, but I also want to bring us back into season 1 where Puck was telling him that like you were saying in season 1 where there's 5 different attributes. And like...
It's still Shadow.
Yeah, it's still Shadow, but like...
So there's 6 or 7 attributes.
I think there's 7. But anyway.
What? Okay.
Well, because you have the main ones, which is Earth, Fire, Water, Wind. I think there's 4.
No, I think there's 5. I think there's a 5th one. Ground?
No, that'd be Earth.
Anyway, I think there.
Then you have Light and Shadow, or Yin and Yang.
Yes.
So you have technically 6, but there could be that 7th one that's in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, I know that none of us know the future, and
what?
Like, I know none of us know what's going to happen in season 3 and beyond.
Okay.
Well, he at least saw the trailer.
That's valid.
Does that add to what this conversation?
Just keep going.
Okay, so because if that's the case, I was about to say I'm going to die on this mountain saying that Subaru was only able to blast out all of those diamond shooter things that he was able to make the barrier for the rabbits.
Okay.
Strictly because he was holding hands with Beatrice.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to. We will have this recorded for future reference.
It's evidence.
Is this manga stuff, by the way?
No.
Okay, so this is all of us speculating.
So, like, I can see both sides of it. Like, it's kind of like I said in the beginning, because I was more on the side of it's only because of her. But then I see Matt's point of view where he needed her help to channel it, to feel it. And then once he was able to feel it, he was able to do it.
Right. I also think it's character growth in Subaru.
That is
because
true.
He is
but if his gate is Shadow, I'm pretty sure hers is ice. Well, fire, technically, to this weird logic.
Fire, yeah.
So I think her ability is like those doors, and so she can just transport anything
so
she
like
wants.
Spatial magic.
Yeah.
So you think that the ice or crystals that she's doing is kind of like a generic that anybody can do if you can do it and feel the flow of it?
Basically.
Okay.
You can learn it.
I just think Lantz is going to fall down this hill. Is what's going to happen.
He's going to trip.
Yes.
Well, the only reason I'm really saying this is because, one, I want to hold on to this dark, unseen hand.
Okay. Which has still happened, but anyway.
And I just feel that I think he needs to be unique in a way. Oh, fuck. He can't be unique if he's already copying Betelgeuse.
But he's not necessarily copying because he has the Witch of Envy's energy inside of him. That's technically her thing. So he's not necessarily copying.
Yeah, and he has the ultimate singular thing where he could just return by death.
Right, but to go back on what Tyler was saying, Betelgeuse isn't a disciple of Envy.
No,
he's a sloth. Betelgeuse
he was sloth. Okay, yes. So yeah, you're right. Never mind. I get all these witches mixed up, man.
So I think he understands the ability and can manipulate it and use it.
Maybe this is just going to be the Pokemon Mew of ReZero.
Or it's going to be Ditto, where he can just kind of one-time use it, and that's it.
Maybe.
That'd be...
Yeah, maybe he's just going to be able to...
Just going to use Copycat.
Learn a little bit of everything.
It's going to be jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Well, he is a knight now, so, he's good.
How much of a knight? I have a feeling he's going to brag about his knighthood when he gets back, and
God.
Julius is going to put him in his place again, but in a friendly way.
Yeah.
Still hope he gets his head clocked in by him.
No, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think it's going to be Julius is going to be like, "Oh, look at you. You're a knight now. Congratulations." And then it's going to be like, "Yeah, I am." And then they're just going to continue on.
Yeah, as much as I want that to happen, I think the cockiness is past them.
Yes.
With how much they all grew during those trials.
I think Jules is going to be the better man out of the two, at least up front.
Because he even admitted to it right after that that's something that he should not have done.
Right. He's admitted it, and we saw in the post-death scene that he wanted to be friends with him. So, like, we already know where his...
Yes.
Oh, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
But it does, because the actions up until Subaru died still happened. So everything minus Subaru dying by Julius happened. Basically, he redid the whole thing, but instead of dying, they went off to the middle of nowhere, and Julius was able to kill what was supposed to have killed Betelgeuse.
Oh, okay. The only reason I'm saying what I'm saying is when Subaru revisited those potential futures,
Yeah.
that was still under his first trial, right?
Yeah. Yes, that was still under...
It was, because the second trial is your... No.
That was the past.
It was the second trial. Because the second trial was your... on
Subaru never went through a second trial.
The future...
Yes, he did. He did go through his second one because the first one was the past. The second one was... It was like...
The presence.
It was,
so he saw...
unforeseeable present or something like that. It was presence that you can't see happen because of your actions. And his was every single thing that happened after every single one of his deaths. The pain it caused his friends. The pain it caused the ones that he loved because of his selfish actions. That was his second trial. He never did the third trial, though. He did do the second one after a few deaths from Garf and trying to work around him.
And
because
rabbits.
And rabbits. Speaking of rabbits, fucking love the rabbits. That was probably my favorite death scene, which we'll get to.
Yes.
But I also... Okay, I don't know how far you guys wanted to take that, but I prefaced all of that with... Okay, let me preface that with prefacing this. Okay, because I want to plant some seeds right now because I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
Okay, so the first trial is facing your past.
Yes.
And we followed Subaru, and we saw his parents, and then when...
Him being a shitty student, yes.
Shitty student. And then when Echidna talked to him,
Yes.
we learned that Subaru was seeing his parents through his memories, through what he wanted,
Yep.
and it wasn't exactly true.
Yes and no, because she essentially gave him an easy out while still to a normal person, because she knows he is not from that world. She knows he is never going to see his family.
Right.
And that was the biggest thing where he was like, hey, thank you, because if it wasn't for this, I would have never been able to truly be at peace with being isekai'd.
Right.
That was his biggest growing up moment, was that. Because, like you said, he's never going to see his family again.
Yep.
And this gave him his chance to get everything off his chest on, like, why didn't you hate me?
Yep.
And instead, you choose to love me and support me when I was being a piece of shit.
Yep.
In which was...
Okay, that's all true.
Yes.
But the point that I'm trying to get at was none of that was actual reality.
To an extent.
Okay, so none of those conversations ever happened. All of that was fabricated.
Through his memories, though. Yes.
Through his memories.
Yes.
Remember that you said that.
I'll try.
Okay.
I forgot this point's leading to another point. So.
Yes. This is a preset to what I want to ask next, because I knew if I asked this first, it wasn't going to
Make any sense.
It wasn't going to make you guys think the way I wanted you guys to think.
Okay.
Okay, so with all this being said, fabrication of memories, it's all about what someone might remember, and it's all about dealing with how the person wants to deal with how they were in the moment themselves.
Okay.
Okay, now let's jump to Garfield.
Yep.
In his trial, his mom died.
Well, that actually happened, but yes.
In his trial, she died.
Yes.
We don't know this for an absolute fact, unless there's a manga mention you're going to bring up. But what I'm going to get at is these moments that Subaru had with his parents, he had an entire scene made up out of nothing.
Yep.
And that was cool. And when it comes to Garfield, when his mom died, he wasn't there when his mom died. All I'm trying to say is, do you guys think that his mom is actually dead? Or do you think there's going to be some anime logic in the future that his mom's going to pop up and be like happy-go-lucky kind of thing in the
They
future?
did end up touching back on it that I don't think she did die. Because
No, she died.
did she?
die. Yeah.
Because I remember that they came back to her a second time about it, and she didn't die on the trail. Like right after she left the sanctuary, she didn't. I don't think she died because they touched on it a second time.
No, they...
Because I remember he did the trial a second time while Subaru was there. Because the first time he did, he saw her die right away, and the second time was completely different, and she didn't die.
Yeah, the second time, basically, he saw the goodbye, and that is... Yeah, he saw the goodbye from his mother. But yes, the mother is dead. They make mention of it. It's the person he calls grandma. I'm trying to blank on Ryuzu
Yep.
says that she died on her way out, essentially.
Oh, okay. So if he's got this kind of reinforcement out of her and she's been alive for forever.
Read too far.
God damn it, Tyler. I see her. Tyler, stop looking on the internet.
I literally just typed in, did she die? And it literally the thing was, I don't want to say unless you want to know.
Am I right?
Let's not. That should be a not for this conversation.
For the next break.
Oh, God damn it, Tyler.
Okay. Anyway.
It wasn't literally the clip it of Google. I didn't have an option.
So for anybody that wants to know, just Google "did she die?" And you'll find out, I guess.
Obviously, the light novels are out there. You can find out.
You know the whole story if you've read them, because
Okay.
all the light novels are out, right?
No, the light novel is still in production.
But it's so far ahead that
yes,
you can know
it's very
most
much
of what's
further
going
ahead.
on.
I would like to imagine my question would be obviously answered by this point in the light novels.
I would go with yes as well.
Especially if Matt is on the flip
I
side
would
of
assume
she's
we
dead.
probably would know who Omega is compared to the light novels.
As far as light novel. Wait.
Yes, we have no idea who Omega is. How
And
did
I'm
they
assuming
know who Omega is?
and I'm assuming the light novels have touched on Omega. So I'm assuming that light novels can almost answer any questions we could have at this current time.
I guess I'd hope so.
I would hope so. Otherwise, this anime leaves a lot to question.
But anyway, let's get back into the heart of this conversation. I know, Tyler, you had brought up something about certain topics you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so let's start here. My favorite character.
Oh, I was going to say, did we...
Yeah, that's
We didn't get to
definitely-
mine yet because I brought Subaru up with him using powers and kind of wandered.
Yeah,
from
it's your
there,
own
but
fault.
Hey, conversation, all right? Probably still going with what I said for our season 1 episode is Elsa, 100%.
Yep.
You got to see her a lot more.
You found out she was a vampire. That was
You
interesting.
got to find out she was a vampire, and the fact that she could take all these punches and regenerate and dies to a hippo.
Instantly.
Just dies to a hippo.
This...
Now I have a question. Do you think she actually died?
No.
So, I know she says she can regenerate anything, but like Garth said, like kind of like we talked about segment, a vampire can die because the vampire witch died.
Yep.
And so I will keep killing you until you just die. I have a feeling she might actually be dead due to the fact that he literally crushed her entire body at once. And you...
Watch the
See,
explosion.
the thing is, she says she can heal her injuries, but I don't understand if she can heal her whole body. Because you literally see her body just start pancaking and just blood.
Oh, did you paid that close attention?
Oh, yeah.
It was my favorite character. So you literally just see her body pancake and blood. I don't think she's coming back.
Okay.
If she does, you ain't killing her.
I mean,
good for her, I guess.
In the anime, that hippo was called Stone Piggy, and when Stone Piggy was thrown at her, I just took it that Stone Piggy was thrown at something, and something exploded.
Oh, it was definitely a body.
So this also goes on to my other topics. I had 2 characters. My other favorite character is Garth because this man just turned full lion mode, twisted its head like a top, and
that
just
was
launched the body at her. Like
that was super fucked. I was like, oh god, that's
like this
so
man just
intense.
stopped it with one arm, turned, and then just did some luchador stuff in the air, twisted its head off like a soda cap, and then just killed it like it was nothing. And this thing was probably easily a couple 1,000-ton-pound beast.
You guys want to know every time Garth went into tiger mode, all I can think of was Super Tony the Tiger.
They're great! But yeah, when he picked up the hippo or stone piggy, he threw it up into the air and it came down directly on top of her. Completely crushed her in one movement. Like I said, she said she could heal wounds. I don't think she has the regenerative capability of her whole body. Otherwise, I don't think, if we're kind of going with our theory, Sekhmet would be dead. But the vampire witch, I don't think she'd be dead if she could heal her whole body.
If she got hit directly, then yeah, she would 100% be dead.
100% direct.
I mean, unless you're Cell from Dragon Ball Z, you can't regenerate from that.
Okay, we're not scaling that high yet, all right? Cell can
No,
kill cities, and she can't even cut this guy's stomach yet.
Speaking of which, we're talking about some super high-class assassin versus a fucking 14-year-old. We got some...
Yeah, but according to
some
Subaru,
skill classing.
he does not look like a 14-year-old, so it's okay.
Well, I mean, he already knows how badass he can be from previous memories. So I know that... I mean, as us being anime watchers, we know that's our... I mean, power levels are always going to make you feel like you're more mature than you are.
And I have a feeling all that power came from just due to the fact that he was dropped off there when he was 4.
Yeah, he's got this rage built up, like...
He's got the rage with his mother abandoning him for... She wanted a happy life outside of the kids because that's what he initially felt when she left. And he just built up rage, which just eventually turns into power. And I think that's also why it took Subaru so long to convince him, is because he had all that rage built up against the outsiders because of his mom. And it just led to his strength. He just used it, and because to me, like, his big ability when in his steroid Tony the Tiger form is his scream, which is usually backed by just pure rage. And that's where I think it all comes from.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that hormonal teenager rage, and that's what makes him... I think that, okay, I don't think that's what makes him, but I think that's what helps boost whatever heritage that whatever his, I can't assume father or mother, but whatever his heritage.
I think it came from his father because his mother didn't look like she had any traits.
Yeah, she did look
because
human.
I think that's why she wanted to leave why he thought she wanted to leave to be happy is because she's human.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah,
because I think they did say that their dad was the demi-humans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, both parents. Okay, there was one moment in the anime that made me question. Okay, so Garf and Frederica, they both have different dads, right?
They touched base on it at the end.
Like, they did in the middle and they did at the end.
At the very end, I think it's the same dad. Because that's when he said, well, I think he said, like, we have
Mom gets around. That's what...
Mom gets around.
Yeah.
I don't have as much demi-human blood in me. Because that's why he was able to leave the barrier and help inside the mansion. And that's why Subaru was like, why the hell didn't you say this fucking earlier?
I think they have the same father. I think he was just making a joke.
Yeah. Like, that's what...
I think it is the same father.
That's what confused me and pissed me off, is because in the middle of the anime, they were talking about how we have different fathers.
And that's why she was able to leave, but he wasn't, because he was more demi-human and she wasn't.
Yeah, like, she had a quarter of demi-human... Wait.
I think he was just trying to make an excuse. That's all it was.
Yeah, that's probably...
Because he did not want to leave because of the old hags.
Yes.
That was why he didn't want to leave, because that's all he knew.
The one, but yes.
Yeah.
The one that
I don't remember their names because I know there's 4 of them, but 3 that he can communicate with. But it's the one with the white jacket.
There's 2 main ones and there's a million other ones.
Yes.
It's 3 main ones.
There's 3 main ones?
3. There's 2 in black coats, and then there's the one in the white coat.
Oh, there's 2 black coats?
Yep.
I know there's one old one that never got replaced. And that's all I got left at.
Because I know there's technically 4. One of the main ones is the main one who's in the crystal. Then you have the main one who's in the ice, or the white jacket, who was the second one made. And then the other 2 are the 2 in the black.
Oh, okay. So
you're
counting the girl, the original in the crystal.
Well, even then, ignoring the crystal, there's still 3.
Yeah, the 3 cycle. They talk about how they cycle.
There's only 2.
God damn it, I missed.
Then there is 4.
There was only 2.
Then there is 4 because they said that they're supposed to be
2 at a time, I think.
2 at a time, but one of them's not allowed, and that's the one in the white.
Yes.
She's not allowed inside that crystal. Well, not allowed to be inside this, what happened. So I think then there is 4 of them. 1 died. She got exiled from the cycle, and then there's just the 2 in the black left.
Jesus.
And I think that's why she wears white, is because the white are like the eyes of the sanctuary.
I don't remember.
You paid more attention than I did. There was so much fucking confusion going on between all
I
those
even
fucking
take
clones.
notes. I'm just trying to remember everything on the fly.
Anything else specifically that you wanted to talk about? We're running low on time.
One of my favorite death scenes out of this one was definitely the white rabbits, where he just sees a rabbit, kind of thinks it's whatever, and then fucking leg's gone.
Chopped.
He just goes to take a step and falls, and then they all just come out and just murder him. And then Roswell does the same thing, just walks into a field of them and just gets mowed down like it's lo mein. Like,
Oh, he knew that time would be reversed into his potential favor.
which also messed with me, the fact that his book was able to tell,
Exactly.
and he knew everything from the start.
Yep.
Until Rom fucked with him. But that time he got eaten by the rabbits, those fucking rabbits.
That was brutal. I was like, oh, this rabbit's cute. It's got a little horn and what was it, his foot? Just gone.
This can't be anything. And then chomp, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
For real. And like, this thing looks cute and innocent and just murders him out of just for nothing.
Right?
Oh, it wasn't nothing. It was just because he's got the envy in him, so he was drawn to him.
He was there, so that's really what it was for. But yes. Yeah, that was, I guess, favorite murder scene. Lance, you got anything?
Murder scene?
Yeah, his favorite death in season 2.
So he only killed himself the once, so every other one would be caught in murder.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the very first thing that comes to my mind right now is the very first death is when he's looking for Rem, and he finds Rem
And now
dead
she's
in the field, and he's like, I need to restart this shit so I can save Rem. So he sends a blade through his throat.
Yep.
And then he wakes up back in the trailer and right next to Amelia, starts everything over from like the very first episode of season 2.
Yep. For me, I'd 100% the rabbit scene. It just so memorable that all the other deaths that he had are kind of fail in comparison.
Yeah, and it was like the first time.
Minus the one where does Roswell kill him in one of them? Because he stabs
No, I don't
Rom.
think Roswell kills him. He forces to kill himself because Roswell kills himself. So he forces to redo the sequence.
Yeah, because
the only person that kind of killed him that's in his group, I think Beatrice killed him by exiling him to actually where the rabbits were.
Yes, and then he dies by Elsa twice, and that's really about it.
I think he only died 4 times. It was the rabbits, Elsa twice, and himself.
Yeah.
Because actually, did he die when he got back from the witches' meeting the first time? Because he was so just messed up.
No, this is another thing we need to bring into focus. The reason why the dyings officially came to a stop was because he made a bet with Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
That he was going to break the cycle.
That the cycle was going to be broken for this short time period. He made a bet.
Uh-huh.
So that's why we as anime watchers never saw him die again. And I just feel like this needs to be very point blank for all our listeners, because at the first time I watched this, I was like, you can make a bet and like you can just die and restart. But this
Roswell wouldn't know.
But no, not only that, but because a bet was made, there was a curse put upon it. And we didn't find out about that curse.
The curse wouldn't have been on him until he lost. Because then he would have to hold up his end of the bargain. Because Roswell didn't get his until Roswell lost.
No. The curse was made immediately. And then there was a bond.
It was the oath.
There was an oath.
Because I think
there was an oath and a curse. Sorry. All I'm saying...
It was an oath drawn by a curse. Because there's 3 different versions of it where oath is singular person.
Uh-huh.
Because then there was contract, oath, and then one other one.
Yeah.
Whatever this works out to is after that deal was made, in the scenario that Subaru would have died again, he would have just died, and this whole entire anime would have been for nothing. But obviously, because we need to let the story continue, because everything worked out, we don't have to worry about Subaru not getting reborn again, because if he failed, he wouldn't have gotten reborn again. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. Because there was that
burnt to ashes.
Because there was that promise.
Yeah, because what it is when they made it, it inflicted a curse.
Yep, that he was unknown about.
Yep, and then as soon as Roswell was proved wrong, the curse imbued the oath.
Yep.
And that's why now he's got that on his chest.
Yeah, and then he took it one step further to prove himself.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, the only last thing I can say is that devil guy that I was talking about, Hector.
Yep.
There was one moment where he sang one of his words, much like Roswell sings his words.
Okay.
Do you think there is a connection between the two?
No, I think it's just a crazy person thing.
I think it's just a coincidence. I don't think they're related, because then Roswell would be part demon.
do kind of think he's part demon.
But I can't, due to the fact that I can't see a demon hurting someone in their own race. Because he's the reason why Ram lost her horn.
I suppose. Roswald's the one that
chopped off her horn and killed her family.
Yes.
I can't see a demon doing that to a demon.
Yes.
Yeah, but he did that for his own self-righteous burst.
Doesn't matter.
Even then, though, I still can't see a demon doing that to a demon.
Demons are fucking shitty.
True, but
not necessarily in this
in this one, they're not. I can't see it because they were so heavy on the demon race continuing. That's why they would only kill twins. Mm-hmm. That was the only time they would ever.
That was between that specific pact. Roswell has nothing to do with that specific pact.
But even then, though, I still can't see a demon wiping out an entire demon tribe.
I don't know. I think he's got his heart set on finding his way back to.
And even then, they've also specified a few times that he is human.
Yeah,
yeah.
But he has the knowledge to transfer his consciousness to the next generation, so that he can essentially live forever.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with being a demon or not.
Because if he was a demon, he wouldn't need to transfer his consciousness.
I mean, you potentially could.
You could if you were physically dying and needed it, but
yeah,
they live forever. They don't need to technically transfer their consciousness.
I suppose.
I guess I'm getting too deep in myself.
Yeah, but I don't have anything else I want to talk about. Do you? Besides manga mentions, Lance?
I'm good.
Want to do a quick pause?
Hello, pardon the interruption. My name is Harrison from the Basement Bench, and you're hearing this because you enjoy anime and you're listening to the Anime Lounge. Now, if your enjoyment of anime crosses over into enjoying animation, well, then you should check out the Basement Binge, where currently we are celebrating the love of animation with Animation Hall of Fame, Volume 3. Looking back at what great animation is, looking ahead with newer animated movies coming out, including some great anime, including Makoto Shinskai's Suzumi coming out very soon. If you enjoy animation, come celebrate with us at the Basement Binge and a bunch of other movies that we like. You can find the Basement Binge wherever you get podcasts. Back to your regular scheduled program.
Alright, so I think we've gone far enough with enough talk, and I think it's time for some Matt's Manga mentions. NANI?!
Alright, so for our listeners, I am going to talk as much as I possibly can. I was unable to read essentially the ending of the season, and I'm going to give as much as I can as far as information between the manga and the anime are concerned. I was only truly able to read up until the ending of the third time he met with the witches. Basically, whenever he met with everyone is the last chapter I was able to read. Not a whole lot of differences this time as compared to last time, but there are a few. So let's just kind of take a deep dive into it. You see a what-if scenario where Subaru and Rem do run away, and it's in the beginning where Subaru tells Rem, like, hey, let's run away together. And it's a what-if scenario where Rem actually says yes.
How far does that go?
So we'll get into it. It's 8 years. So in this scenario, it's 8 years from that moment.
8 years?
Yep.
What the fuck happens in 8 years?
They have 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
What? Okay. Now this is pissing me off. The anime skipped this shit?
Apparently. Beyond that, basically, they go into how Rem was able to use her knowledge because of Roswell.
Right. That's from season 1.
Yep, she's able to get a job and essentially support the family. Subaru becomes a laborer because he can't really read and write very well. And
blue collar work.
yeah, pretty much. And that's how Subaru supports the family. And over time, it kind of flip-flops where Subaru takes over supporting the family and Rem supports the kids. You see Rem with long hair. We're talking like long hair down her entire back, kind of long hair.
I would prefer that.
Yeah, it's just distinguishing with her short hair. Not really a whole lot into it. It's I think it's a handful of pages. It's really all that's to it. Nothing super deep dive into that what if scenario.
Like, I know a lot of us fans could definitely appreciate that.
Yep, but yeah, I can understand why they didn't do it. It's not really the end of the world not seeing it. It's 100% what if. So it's not really the end of the world.
Ooh, I'm sorry to bring this in. So there was that one scene with the witch Carmilla,
who is the witch of lust.
Yep.
She's got the green scarf around her neck.
Yeah, she looks kind of sad, but like
Yep.
she had that one scene where she impersonated Rem.
Yep.
And that's what made me think that like Subaru had a true love for Rem over Amelia.
Okay.
So like I was thinking like what if in the end he ultimately chooses Rem? But I mean, of course the way that the story is progressing, like obviously they're making it.
It's essentially a harem is what it's going to turn into.
Oh my god, yeah.
A very slow burn harem is kind of what it sounds like. The only nice thing is that they've made it obvious where Subaru is not picking Beatrice, and she's okay with that. So there's at least one female character that's obsessed with him that is like, yep, I get it.
I mean, I wouldn't say obsessed, but like she's accepted that he's there, but like he's not going to be the one
For
her.
So she states that he is the one for her, but he's not going to be, like, the feeling's not mutual.
Right.
But anyway, to get back into the manga mentions, they state that Rem's condition is called Sleeping Princess, and it is not a new disease, I guess you could call it. It's not new, but it has something that nobody has ever woken from, and that they essentially live in a perpetual state of sleep, but they never age and they never get hungry. So they legitimately, Rem will stay in that state permanently.
Which state?
Her sleeping state, where she's just there.
So can we presume from this state that like she'll never wake up?
Yes. So
unless things get fucked with?
Unless something happens, Rem will be exactly as she is throughout the entire season.
Okay. So like we could say like people who have been affected in the past, like just commoners.
Yep.
They're always just gonna be, just fucked.
Yep, exactly. And then say Lyle, the
Sin Archbishop of Gluttony.
I'm assuming until he dies, that's gonna be how it is for everyone.
How cancel everything out and everything go back to normal.
Yep.
I can assume that too.
Yep. Then so Wilhelm got injured by his wife, and the injury only opens / gets worse when the person who causes the wound is close by. So essentially, Wilhelm has this injury on his shoulder that is from Therese that pseudo closes but never fully closes. But then once the person that inflicts the damage gets close by, it'll open back up, and that happens. So he believes that the witch's cult is behind the reasoning for why it's opening and closing, basically saying that his wife is still alive.
Whoa. Okay. So the White Whale never killed
Correct.
The original sword master,
Therese, yep. It has been 2 months since Subaru has come to the world and Rem was lost. Mm-hmm. So about 2 months of time has passed.
They made mention of that because they said that Subaru needed to maintain his gait, so he needed time to recover. So
Yep.
there's that. They made tiny mention of that, and then all of a sudden 2 months have gone by.
Yeah. So just
So sudden.
Roswell got hurt by attempting to complete the trial without the authority. So basically, he got hurt trying to complete the trial without the ability to complete the trial. And that's how he gets hurt. I know they kind of talk about it, but the thing is, in the manga, his skin starts to repel away from his body. So basically, his skin is like melting off his body.
Roswell?
Yeah. And that's why he's so injured when Subaru gets there.
Okay. So that's why he's in an injured state when he first enters the...
Correct. When
safe
Subaru
place.
first enters the yes. And then the last thing I've got is Roswell tells Subaru that when they leave, he will make Subaru a knight for his actions. So he informs Subaru that because of the things in which he has done prior to going to the sanctuary is worthy of being a knight.
Because he's like proofing himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the killing of the white whale, because the pact / cohesion that he's created with essentially the good feelings. So essentially the pacts he's made with Cruce has led to his actions being deemed worthy of knighthood. It's just kind of one of those things where in the anime, it almost kind of seems like it gets surprised on him versus in the manga, it's more well known. Like he knows that this is going to happen because he's worthy of said actions. And that's really all I've got. I wasn't able to read all the way through. I wish I could have. Hopefully I will be able to in the future. But as of right now, that's really all I got. I really enjoyed the manga. I wish I had time to read the light novel. I would love to read it.
Oh my God, yeah. There's so much information that we would love to know.
Yep. Like I had said earlier, please, anybody who's read the light novels, just kind of either message us, drop a comment somewhere.
Just sprinkle in some information.
Yep.
Let us know. Let everybody else who wants to watch our stuff on like YouTube, or I don't think you can make comments on Spotify or anything like that, but like we have this on YouTube as well, so let us and the community know.
Yep. Drop us that good information, and I'm so glad we finally were able to watch season 2. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, immensely.
Good. I'm glad. I've been recommending for you to watch it since it came out in, I think, 2021. So it's been a couple years since it's been out. I can't wait for season 3. Will not come fast enough. And definitely watch the trailers because it's going to be intense.
Oh, yeah. I'm 100% I'm definitely going to be watching this when it releases, week by week, no problem.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait. But that's all we got. So thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. Again, make sure to check out the anime show. Check out all the awesome anime content that they post on there. And of course, you can check out all of our anime content that you see that you want from us. And make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this. Have a good one.
There, guys.